I feel terrible because I spent like 40 minutes filming this video, and I realized that it took the audio from not only the mic, but also my cam link, so it sounds absolutely terrible, and I'm sorry. I did what I could to edit it and make it sound better, but I just felt like because I was very authentic and spoke from my heart at certain points, I didn't want to have to reshoot the whole video because this is something that I just couldn't capture that refilming it. So I hope that you can forgive me for these audio issues. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Hey you, thanks for watching. It's me, Melonie Mac, and today I feel like we are in an emergency family meeting right now, alright? So I'm just going to say, first and foremost, I'm going to be a lot more vulnerable with myself than I'm comfortable with, but I'm just going to do it because I feel like this is an emergency situation and I got to do what I got to do. If it can help somebody, then I'm going to open up a bit more than I like. So that's that. If you're wondering what the heck, what's going on, how are we even on this topic? Yesterday, I made a tweet because I was looking through some of my memories on social media and I saw a selfie that I took around this time last year. And just looking at that selfie, I could see the pain in my face. And at the time, I'm trying to smile, I'm trying to be happy, and I didn't even notice just how bad it was at the time. And now I look at it and it's just like a rush of emotions came over me. And I just remember just how bad of a place I was in at that time. And then I looked at a selfie that I took earlier that day and it's like night and day, man. It's such a stark and drastic difference. And so to see that I pulled myself out of that dark hole with the help of others, of course, it made me want to share that with everybody on my social media because it's like, hey, if this can help somebody, I'm going to do that. And I've shared this before and I've said it before and I absolutely hate talking about it because I do not want this to define me. But again, I'm just going to do it just to open up a bit and to hopefully help others out there, even if it's just one person. I'm happy to do that. So last year, I got a divorce and it was the hardest thing I have ever been through. It was the hardest thing for me to ever do. Okay? There are so many factors in, there's so many things that I haven't shared and I'm not going to because, they're personal things and they involve other people and I'm not going to talk about other people. I can only talk about myself, okay? That's all I'm going to do. So, it was a very, 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 very hard and even traumatizing experience for me. Okay? Now, I don't want this to define me, and so I don't always bring it up, but it did. But I look at how far I've come from that. And there's other things that I've been through in the past that have been very difficult as well that I haven't even talked about. And just like everybody, okay, we all go through very difficult experiences in our lives. And that's life, man. Life can be tough and life can throw you some curveballs. But one thing I've prided myself in, I guess you could say, is that I'm a super resilient person. So when life knocks me down, I always get back up and keep moving. And I don't know, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm just saying, it's a mindset thing, okay? And it's something that I've learned and I've developed. And so I want to help impart that to you all. And especially lately, I've felt it on my heart. I don't know if God put that on my heart or if it's just something that I've felt called for in general. But lately, especially this past like week, I have just felt heavy on my heart to encourage others right now. And people that are following me and stuff. And I think I have this following and I need to do good with it, you know? When I made that tweet, I got some replies from some people because I made that tweet and I said, life gets better, guys. Keep going. Like one day might feel like the end of the world. You might literally want to die, okay? I'm telling you. You might literally want to die one day because the most tragic, terrible thing in your life, your whole world falling apart, okay? You might feel like that one day, but keep going because life does get better if you just keep going, okay? So I said, life gets better. And I got some comments and some replies from people saying, wow, can't wait for that to happen for me. I don't think it's going to happen for me. Life still hasn't gotten better for me, so I can't wait for that to happen. Who knows? It probably won't, maybe, but I'll be waiting. When's it going to be my turn type attitude. Now, that's when it hit me and a light bulb went off in my head. I got to make a video. I got to talk about this because this is a family emergency. Your life is not going to get better on its own, all right? My life didn't get better on its own. Your life isn't going to either. Okay, when I say, or when anybody says, life gets better, we're not saying that as in just sit back and mope and your life is going to one day you're going to wake up one day and everything's going to be great. It don't work like that, okay? Now, I wrote down some notes because I want to touch a lot of bases here, all right? And then also when I do say just how much my life is better now, I don't want to come off as this superhero who has this perfect life. I don't, okay? I'm telling you, just a couple weeks ago, I was really in a bad place, all right? I spent about a week or 2 weeks being really, really sad and moping about it, all right? And I'm better now. There's still tough times that are going to happen. You just have to, it's just how you handle it, all right? So, mope and move. That is my motto. That is my philosophy. It's what I do. So, I'm in a better place now, but it doesn't mean that, again, I'm this superhero that just has this amazing life and everything's always perfect. It's not. So here are these steps, and here are the things that help me and that help pull me out of some very, very dark places, all right? And I am absolutely confident that if you apply these and practice these yourself, it's going to help you too, all right? So let's hop in. Now, first of all, the most important, I don't know, maybe not, I don't know, but first of all, the root cause, okay? This is what you need to look at, the root cause. Why? If you're in a place right now where you're hurting, why is it? Okay? What does your situation look like? Here's the thing is you can't control what happens to you in life most of the time, or a lot of the time, but you can control what you do about it. So, you have to look at the root cause. Is it a person? Is a person bringing you a lot of pain? Okay? Is a person stressing you out? Is a person leeching the life out of you? So many factors. Is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it a situation? Like, is it your job? Is it where you live? Or maybe even possibly, your past. Something that happened in your past that you're struggling to get over. Or maybe you have mental issues that you need to work through. I mean, don't we all? So, this is where you have to change. You have to make a change. Because if there is a catalyst here, all right, then if you do not change that, you will not be happy. All right? You're going to be stuck if you don't change it. Now, this change doesn't always mean, especially when I'm talking about people, it doesn't always mean walking away from people, okay? I am a firm believer in giving people chances. I am a firm believer in forgiveness and in trying to work things out, whether that be a friendship, a relationship, family, okay? You should always first try to make things work, okay? I don't think you should just be dropping people like flies, because people are people. Now, unless they have demonstrated absolute, narcissistic, psychopathic, something like that kind of tendencies, heck yeah, drop them at the first freaking sign of that, dude. But I'm saying in general, I don't think that should be the first resort. But if you've communicated with this person and they are still continually hurting you, and they are still continually showing pattern behavior that is detrimental to you, and you're the only one putting in the effort, or you're putting in 75+% of the effort consistently over time, constantly, not just through period. Because sometimes that's just how dynamics go with friendships, relationships, all that kind of stuff. Is sometimes you're going to put in more effort, sometimes they're going to put in more effort. But if it is only you putting in the most effort, go, walk, leave, don't look back, all right? So in that situation, I'm going to say that. But, yeah, I don't know. And so if it's a job and you're unhappy in your job, I'm not saying just walk away and quit because you got bills to pay. But do what you can to find another job, and then once you do that, then you can leave that job. Examples. These are examples of things like that. And then if it's mental health issues, then go see a doctor, a psychologist, psychiatrist, get therapy, all that kind of stuff. You can evaluate and assess whether you need to be on medication or not. I'm the type of person that I don't like to be on any medications. I like to try to get through stuff naturally, but I am not short-sighted enough to think that that's for everybody, because there are definitely a lot of cases where medication is needed for people. So definitely see a doctor, see a professional, and assess that. All right, now let's move on from here. So let's say that your situation is grief-related, okay? A breakup, a divorce, a loss, things like that, that can really, really be very hurtful and traumatizing. And there are variations to this. And I don't want to come off as insensitive, okay? But you do have to pick yourself up, no matter what it is. And that's hard to tell people when it's something very, 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 very terrible that happens. Like, say something far beyond like a breakup, like some sort of just terrible abuse or a loss or something like that you can't just like know, you know? Obviously professional help, like I said before, and all that kind of stuff. But even in situations of traumatizing events, there's still things that we can do to move forward. Okay? So my philosophy is let yourself mope for a time. Because you do have to process your feelings. If you do not process your feelings, you're not going to truly move on. So you might need to cry about it. You might need to find your escape and to feel better. All right, so that can be through video games, watching anime. Those are two things that I like to do. You might want to spend some time just eating some junk food for the dopamine of it. Some people, there are more unhealthy things that people turn to as well, like excessive drinking or drugs or something like that, which I obviously do not condone. I think that, perhaps in moderation, if you've just been through something extremely difficult and you need to spend the weekend drinking a bit within moderation, do what you need to do, okay? But don't stay there. All right? Because here's the thing, as I talk about, obviously we know drinking and drugs are not healthy. But you know what else isn't healthy? Junk food. And this is a thing that is not talked about enough. There's so many, you can post eating a pizza and cake, and people will be like, yeah, treat yourself, which is important. But the thing is it's not good for you over an extended period of time. So don't sit there and just think, I'm going to live my life. Life is short. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to I'm going to eat those donuts every day. The thing is about junk food is it is a drug. Sugar is a drug. I'm going to make a whole video about this. So I'm just going to leave it at that and leave it short for now. But junk food can help you and give you that dopamine hit and make you feel happy in the moment for that short fleeting moment that you're actually eating the food. But it is so bad for you. Of course, when you look at the health part of it, it's going to shorten your lifespan and all that kind of stuff and all those things when you contract illnesses from eating like that for an extended period of time. But also your mental health. And that's something that's not talked about a lot, is that the food that you eat affects your mental health. And I'm telling you, and I've talked time and time again about being on the keto or carnivore diet, and people are like, they think I'm crazy because you're already skinny, you don't need to lose weight. I don't do this to lose weight. I've gained weight eating carnivore, okay, / keto. So here's the thing, is it's the mental benefits go far beyond that. But I'm not going to go into this tangent on diet. All right, but I think I've said enough. You get the picture. All right, so there's that. And the bottom line here is you need to cope how you need to. All right, you need to have your self-care. And self-care is constantly talked about on social media, but here's the thing that is not talked about is kicking your own butt, because you have to do it. You can't just constantly be in self-care mode. You are enabling poor choices, and you're enabling your grief when you stay in self-care mode for too long, because then it's not self-care mode. You're not going to be happy if you are not accomplishing things. You're not going to be happy if you don't feel fulfilled. And if you're doing nothing but sitting on your butt watching Hunter x Hunter and eating ice cream constantly for an extended period of time and not doing anything with your life, then you're going to be miserable, okay? Self-care is good in moderation, but self-care is also a drug. All right, so, again, something happens to you. Let's say you're going through a breakup. Let's say you're going through some grief, a loss. Let yourself feel the feelings. Let yourself have a couple weeks or so to, get past, to feel those feelings and to cry and to do that. But you gotta pick yourself up. Now, here's the thing about picking yourself up, though, is that it's not a linear path. And when I look at my healing journey and the amount that I've healed and the things that I've gone through and gotten past, it's never, ever, ever been a linear journey. It's never been, all right, I'm doing great now. Here we go. Okay, here we go. I took one step, now I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna run into my happiness. It doesn't happen like that. It's even if you just look at the time span of a year, for example, and I'm going to use my example of being through divorce. So even if I were to just take one step every single day, one step every day, and look at a year, that's all that's a lot of progress, you know? But there are times when I look at my healing journey where I've gotten up and I might take 30 steps one day, and then the next day I might take 10 steps back. So that's the thing about healing, is it's not going to be a linear process. And don't beat yourself up over the times that you fall off that wagon of moving forward, because it's going to happen. But just stay focused on moving forward and don't let yourself stay down. And that's how you will make that progress. And then eventually you're going to look back and say, wow, look how far I've come. Okay? Now, there's something else I want to talk about, because here are some factors that go far beyond just mindset. Because mindset is drastically important, and whether or not you're going to be happy is hugely, massively determined by your mindset. But beyond that, there are other factors, okay? We're human beings, and we have needs, and if those needs are not met, we're not going to be happy no matter how great our mindset is. Now let me touch on isolation. This is something that I think we can all relate to, especially with the pandemic that we recently had. And there is a spectrum of how much social interaction people need. I'm very introverted, so I don't need as much social interaction as an extrovert. However, to say that I don't need human interaction at all would be wrong. And anybody who says that is wrong. I'm sorry, we're human beings. Humans are not designed to be alone for extended periods of time. So, we need people in our lives at some capacity, whether it be a partner, a life partner, friends, family. Honestly, I think you need to balance all those things. And if you don't have that, you will be miserable. Again, no matter how great your mindset is. Just look at prisons, all right? What's the worst thing? People don't want to be in solitary confinement. That's the worst thing for them. They'd rather risk their lives out in public, or not public, but in their prison with other inmates who are murderers and are terrible people. They'd rather risk their skin for being around people like that than to be to be absolutely isolated in solitary confinement. That is one of the, honestly, possibly apart from physical torture, physical or emotional or deliberately torturing somebody. Solitary confinement is the worst thing you can do to a person. You will lose your mind. All right? And so I think that the pandemic has hurt a lot of us. Even beyond life experiences that happen just because we are so isolated, and we have been so isolated. Yeah, you may be able to call a friend or talk to people online, but that does not count the same as interacting with people in person. You need human interaction in person. It's important. Now, beyond that, let's talk about touch. I watched a video on this, and I'm going to put it in the description here for anybody else who wants to watch it. That was just very eye-opening to me. Now, in general, touch is important to me. When you look at like love languages and stuff, even beyond just like in love, like look at platonic love language even. Physical touch is my number one thing. I like to hug. I like to cuddle. I like just, just touch. Touch is important. So, but even for someone that might not be their main thing like me, it's still important. And you'll see in the video that I linked in the description just how important it is when you see experiments that were placed on monkeys or even babies, and like, dude, these babies are literally dying from not having touch. It's a very, very important thing, and it's just how we're designed. Humans, even animals, dude, like cats, look at your pets, dude. They need your love, they need your affection, they need your pets, they need all that. Now, this is the thing with that, and when I talk about touch, I don't mean sexual inherently. Obviously, that's part of life, and it's an important part of life. But I think that that's also something that you have to be careful with. Me personally, when I think about touch, I think that there are unhealthy mechanisms that people can use that. And I do think, I don't know, for me, and to think, well, how are you going to get touch? Like, you got to make friends, you got to be in a relationship, or you got to, have people around you, loved ones around you that you can hug or something. But I do stress a lot on platonic touch. That's important because if you just look at touch as just a sexual thing, I think that's unhealthy. Touch shouldn't just be only a sexual thing. Also, if you look at ways to get your touch needs met only through sexual areas or outlets, I think that's unhealthy personally, but that's just me. Also, I think if there's no meaning behind the touch you are receiving, then you're not going to benefit from it as well. So I think that there can be unhealthy things with this. For me personally, when it comes to touch, and especially sexually, and when it comes to sexually in nature touch, that's not something I take lightly. And I respect people who are different than that. You can go off and have all the one-night stands you want. So, I would recommend using protection and all that kind of stuff. If that is making you happy and you are on the same page with the people that you are interacting with and see eye to eye on that, and you have a mutual consensual agreement on that that's all it is, good for you. Do what you need to do. If that's making you happy, if that's making them happy, all that kind of stuff. But for me, I know that's not something I've ever been able to do, and that's not something that I ever want to do, because I know myself. I know I'm a very emotional person, and I will get attached to people, so that's not for me, and that would be an extremely unhealthy thing for me to do, is to go out and just seek that kind of fulfillment. It's one of those things to me that seems like, okay, in the moment, you might enjoy it, but then afterwards, like, it can emotionally mess with you. And so that's not for me. I can't do that because I know it will mess me up. So that's something that kind of, I think you need to keep in mind for yourself. You'll know for yourself your own limitations more than I will. But I'm just saying, you're going to want to be careful and cognizant of that. Moving on. Let's go with, now I want to talk about gratitude. All right, this video is going to be long. I've already been talking for a long time, but there's a lot of bases to cover here, and I really, really feel like I need to touch on them. All right, so gratitude is another thing. All right, if you are not grateful for what is good in your life right now, you're not going to be grateful for the good that comes into your life. All right, there are situations and there are times where people are like, oh, I can't wait for my turn. Can't wait for life to get good for me. Well, you know what? Your life might already be good and you just ain't even appreciating it. You know what I mean? And that's something I had to tell myself, is when I go through hard times, when I go through things that are really hurtful or anything like that, it's like, let me take a step back and look at my life in general. I've got a roof over my head. I get to eat warm meals every day. Okay? I have a family that loves me. I'm lucky. All right? I am lucky. There's so many things that that make me so blessed. And if I don't appreciate those things, then I'm not going to be happy. Nothing is going to make me happy if I can't appreciate what is already good in my life. So just taking that mindset, and it's easy for anybody, and I ain't just pointing fingers because I've been in similar mindsets before, where it's just like, man, woe is me, like, why is this happening to me, why are things like this, can anything go right today? It's probably not going to if you think like that. I think that's just the thing, and things may have been going right for you that you just haven't acknowledged. So it's just good to practice gratitude. It's something that sometimes you might have to actively make yourself do that. Because there are times that you're going to feel overwhelmed with gratitude when you really think about things. But then there are other times where you got to make yourself think about it. Say, you know what? I'm in a bad mindset right now. Let me think about things that I'm grateful for in my life. What are good things in my life right now? I just played Tomb Raider. I just played Tomb Raider again and beat Tomb Raider again, and I'm just like, that really brought me joy. Let me take a moment to be grateful that I had that joy today. Things like that. Even if it's something like that, be grateful. Because again, you're not going to be grateful for things that come to you at all. And you're going to think your life is a lot worse than it actually is if you do not practice gratitude. There is always, always, always something to be grateful for. And again, all of this goes back to, you can't control what happens to you. So yeah, some things happen to people that are just terrible. Terrible. And some people have it worse than others. That's how life is, and it sucks, and I hate it, and I hate it so much. But you have to not compare yourself to other people. Some people will have easier lives than you. And your life is easier than other people's too. Say, that's the news flash here. Because you can look at somebody, you might look at somebody and be like, oh wow, look at this person here who was born in a super wealthy family and never had to worry about paying bills in their life, or there might be someone else who met the love of their life when they were 15 years old, and so they stayed together forever and never had to go through any heartbreak. Things like that, okay? There's some people that haven't had to go through the troubles that you have to go through. And likewise, there's some things that other people have gone through that you haven't had to go through. So, don't compare your life to other people. Also, you don't know the pain that other people are going through behind closed doors. Things might look amazing. Things might look perfect for them, but you don't know what their life is like behind the social media. All right? So, focus on yourself and your life and practicing gratitude in your life. Okay? Next up, try to help and be there for other people. Because when you help others, it's going to help you as well. That shouldn't be your motivation. You shouldn't be like, let me help so-and-so just because it's going to help me. You're probably a narcissist if you think like that. But I'm just saying, you will get something out of it. It's good to help others. It's good to be there for others and it's also, on that note, it's also good to lean on others. You need people. I don't care, again, how introverted you are. You need people. You can't go through life without people. You can't have a happy life without other people in it. You can't. And you constantly see it said on social media, if you can't be happy with yourself, you're never going to be happy with anyone else. I'm sorry, but that's bullcrap. There is some truth to that, in the fact that you need to practice confidence, and you need to love yourself and all that stuff, and so that you do not accept less than you deserve, and you don't accept less than you're willing to give. Okay? But it's physically impossible to be happy as a human being by yourself for an extended time, and if you never interact with other people, you will not be happy. That's just, we're human beings. We need people. So, pets help, all that kind of stuff, but they do not replace people. You need people. So, make friends. or lean on your family if they're good. I don't know what your family life is like. Some people have unfortunate family situations, and so I can't be toxically positive and tell people that they need to always make things right with their family. I don't know what everybody's family dynamic is. I just know my family, I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for my family, and I think of the things that I've been through, and my family coming in clutch for me, man. And I'm just saying, whenever things went down for me last year, and I was struck with all that, my family, man, they turned up. That was such an eye-opening experience for me. And I was like, man, if I live the rest of my life without anybody to count on, I at least know I have my family. And just saying that is making me want to cry. Because I hate getting this vulnerable. But anyway, it means a lot to have people there for you, okay? Let me compose myself and get back to this. Alright, I'm back. Gosh, okay. So that was an eye-opening thing for me, and the two that I realized is that there have been times that I've taken my family for granted too, and no family is perfect, okay? So there's going to be situations and times and things that you hurt each other, and I looked back at times to where, I've went through a rebellious phase with my family and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't appreciate them, and then when they so I don't know, that whole experience just really opened my eyes. I'm just gonna leave it at that. The waterworks are gonna happen, and I ain't got time for that today. I got stuff to do. So anyway, the importance of having people in your life, and so again, talking about gratitude, this is something I'm grateful for, that I have that. And not everybody has that, and I wish they did, but not everybody does. So if you don't have that, family isn't always blood, okay? If you got the short end of the stick on your family, you can make family through friends, and it's important. And so definitely put effort into that. And I know it's hard. I know it's so freaking hard to make friends as an adult. It is so tough, but you can do it. And you gotta put the effort into it. You gotta try. You gotta push yourself out of your comfort zone, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Zoe, come here. She's got allergies, so she's gonna be biting on her feet and stuff. I gotta take her to the vet to get her shot. But anyway, okay. But yeah, it's important. It's important to have a support system. And again, when I think about the times that I was going through that, I had my family, but then I also had all of you on social media. There are times where I've had days that were so dark that I've not shared, and that nobody's known about, and that I've just cried my eyes out, and I've just popped on social media, just saw somebody said something nice to me that day. And it could be completely unrelated to my situation, because I may not even have shared it, and it just touched my heart so much. So any kind word that you say to somebody you don't know, it might seem like something so trivial to you, and you don't know how much it actually could have affected them in a positive way, because you don't know what people are going through. And so if you have something on your heart, you feel like saying something nice to somebody, do it, because you don't know, they could really need that. You might not even know it. So yeah, there's that. So, again, that's kind of all I have on my notes right now. But the big takeaway here is to, and here's something else. And another thing that I did want to point out, okay, when it comes to happiness, is to look within as well, because you might be causing a lot of your own issues. And when I say you, I'm saying this rhetorically, I'm including myself in this. Sometimes we can be toxic. Sometimes we can be in the wrong in situations. Sometimes we're the problem. So it's very important to be able to look inward and to have self-awareness. Because if you think all your problems in the world are because of other people, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. And you need to look in the mirror. And again, rhetorically, I'm including myself in this when I say you. So there are things that you can do you should always work on improving yourself and being a better person and treating other people great. Also treating yourself great. Now, here are things that I've done to make me feel great. Go to the gym. I've been working out for over 6 months now, and it has completely made a massive difference in my life. Also, keeping my diet in check. Ever since I've been keto carnivore for a year and a half, a little longer than that, honestly. And that has changed my life, my health, my mental health, everything, dramatically. Of course, I still have junk food days sometimes, self-care days in moderation, like I said, important. And also, it's important to try to progress and to accomplish things, because if you're not accomplishing anything in your life, you're going to be miserable. So that's going to look different for everybody. For some people, they're going to really want to go hard on working. On some other people, you might get your gratification out of really just honing in on a hobby, things like that, or multiple things. But you need to be growing. You need to be growing as a person. You need to be growing how you treat people and being a better person. But you also need to be growing in what you're accomplishing, whether that be a skill, your job, this, that, or the other. So that's important too. So anyway, this video is really long. But again, I felt like this was I needed a family emergency meeting to talk to you all. So I hope that you can get something out of this if you need it. And my heart is heavy whenever I see people hurting. And I hate it. And I hate it that that's how life is, but it is how it is. And so, just to know that there's so many people in the world right now who are hurting, it's sad. It's very sad. But I hope that me sharing what I did can help at least a little bit. I know how much of a dark place I've pulled myself out of. And I don't want to see anybody else stuck in a place like that. And so, I'm just sharing what's helped me. So anyway, there's that. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.